Yeah.
And welcome, Henrik, as
Hi,
well.
guys. Here's the real rock star coming late, coming in from Värmdö, and it's shit traffic. What can we do about AI in traffic? Come on.
Yeah. Well, first we have to build out the Skurubron, right?
Yeah, that's what this is going right now. There's a lot of building on this one place bridge from Värmdö back into the town, and they've been starting to do the construction work for this bridge. I guess that's what's slowing everything up. So
yeah, it is. And I mean, I was born and raised out in Nacka, just by the Skurubron.
Oh, you're my way. Where
so
I
was raised in Lilla Björknäs.
Oh yeah, and we go soccer at the Bo Arena with the kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when I grew up there, I was living in an area where we were like the only ones living there year round. It was like a summer house type place. It was us and another family and maybe some older guy. And today that's completely different, right? So now the houses are bigger than the lots that they built on there. And it has just gentrified completely, and it's just a different place. And I think that has then caused the need for a bigger Skurubron. But what I think is needed is just a reworking of how we think about moving matter around in terms of the job and the workplace. And I think if you want to fix transportation, I think you should just decrease the need for it.
It's like they say, the best energy or the cheapest energy or transportation is the one you don't use.
Right? Exactly. And I think this whole working from home, COVID times has shown that maybe we don't need to move around so much. I mean, we certainly benefit from having a social, real world context, and it's great. But I think just look at the climatological impact of transportation. It's not sustainable. So I think the future's transportation is less need of it and more clever use of the immaterial aspects of why you travel. Like, why do you go there? What is the purpose of that? Can you create another situation different from the one that you have today? So I think this whole electric mobility thing, the more lighter touch on the vessels used or the vehicles used is the right approach. I think building out digital infrastructures is a good thing, and so on and on and on. I think there are a lot of different technologies that can be brought to bear to just decrease the need for moving stuff around. 3D printing is this great fun thing that if it were to deliver on its promise, it would just be fantastic. Maybe it won't,
but I think this is, from a data and AI perspective, also really, really interesting how we see these fundamental mega trends of real things we need to change: our energy systems, our transport systems, our public sector, and everything. I want to test this idea with you. I think what happens is that these fundamental areas is sort of also driving fundamental ecosystems in the future. And with an ecosystem, actually, it's data that needs to flow, algorithms that needs to flow. So to rethink transport, is to rethink the whole ecosystem around transportation, both goods, people, the infrastructure in terms of what trains we have and all that, and planning. But isn't this also an ecosystem topic that really closely is connected to how data can flow and how algorithms can flow to optimize these ecosystems?
Oh, absolutely. And I think optimization is the key here. And like we said earlier, I think that a lot of the artificial intelligence algorithmic approaches to tackling problems points to a clever way of doing something completely differently, but maybe with the same targeted outcome. So, for instance, you know how people say, but your car is used 20% of its time or something. You have it parked at the office, in the garage, at home, or whatever, and so you have this tons of material that you require to just move yourself. You're 70 kilos of flesh around. And
Thank you.
and you put yourself in this 1.5 ton thing, and it's just nonsensical, right? Why would you want to do that? And the reason for that is, previously it was like the best way of doing it. Like, to have a car and just build roads was great. Then you could all of a sudden have free movement in a way you hadn't had before. You could reach greater distances than you could before. But in the wake of that, you have cities that are just uninhabitable. So it has come at a cost. And I think, again, I saw this article many years ago. I think it was a study, not a study, but there was a piece published by the Singularity University about what if you were to have autonomous driving as a reality on Manhattan? What would it mean?
What would that mean?
And it meant basically that you could do away with 90% of the vehicles. So if you remove 90% of the vehicles on Manhattan, all of a sudden Manhattan becomes a very attractive place to hang around in because there's a lot of awesome stuff there, but it's just not okay right now because of traffic, basically. So Manhattan is an island for cars, not for people. But if you could change that, and I think we're seeing that. I saw just earlier today there was a post by Erik Givmark, I think his name is. He works for Volvo in one of the like brands there, and they're doing a really interesting research thing at Hälsingegatan to see, together with Vinnova and some other actors, how you can rethink inner city mobility and traffic. So I think there is a great need for just rethinking the whole thing and not just continuing in the same way but tweaking it. But I think we need to shatter it, basically.
But then from a data and AI perspective, to get the real potential, what this is all about, there is actually a quite big need for us to then take the step of slapping data and AI on top of old analog processes or the way we used to do it, and fundamentally rethink the whole process with a data and AI first mindset. So it's a little bit like you will never get to the 10x ambition if you're not concretely rethinking the whole process from scratch, what you're highlighting now.
Right, I think you're absolutely right. And I think Tesla is showing precisely this. I mean, they have basically all the Tesla cars out there form this ecosystem of Teslas. Mm-hmm. And all the data is flowing across that entire ecosystem. And the learnings and the capabilities coming out of that are massive because they form an ecosystem of cars, and they don't just form a large fleet of cars that don't have anything to sort of teach each other. So I think it is very interesting with a connected, data-rich and data-fueled approach to transportation, for instance.